I'm ready, yeah.
All right. So, what does success look like in running a ranch?
What is success like?
Yeah, like what is like some things to make successful in running it and keeping it good and upkeeping?
Well, I think you've got to put a lot of thought in the preparation of how you're going to run your ranch, what you want to accomplish, and how you're going to go about doing it. And that, and of course, my situation, I've got a cattle ranch in that, and I started out with only 4 heifers in that, and I expanded my herd over a period of time, growing my own stock and that to where I had 75 mama cows, running 3 bulls and breeding cows and all that. But before you get to all those things and that, from day one when you get started, when you're ready to get started and start up the ranch, you got to be sure that you've got plenty of land and pasture and things to handle from a nutritional standpoint, whatever amount of animals you'd like to run. And then once you get your pasture, set up in that and that, you've got to fence your pasture and have it with a good fence around it that'll keep anything in that you want to. And in my situation, I was raising bulls was my long-term goal, and I built a 9-wire barbed wire fence around the whole perimeter of it and that. And you got to have plenty of water, and I dug some new stock ponds and what have you. And you've also got to have good shelter, and we built some sheds and that, and added on to the barn and that. And then you got to, once you get your cows and that, like I say, I started my herd out real small, and I grew everything homegrown and built it over a period of a good number of years. And that, but you've got to take care of your animals. I've got to be good friends with a veterinarian, local veterinarian, and it is early on. And he said, Bill, the best money you can invest in a cattle herd is vaccinations and all that. Well, we started vaccinating our animals twice a year, and that turned out to be the best thing that you could possibly hope for. Over a 40-year period of time, I've only lost three cows, but we vaccinate them in the spring every year for black leg and lepto and virus shield for the small calves to prevent them from respiratory problems and then we put fly tags in their ears and new calves we put an ID tag in their ear and that. And then we do that again in the fall and what have you. We take the fly tags out, give them some more vaccination shots and that, but we vaccinate them twice a year, and that's money, well spent in that. And then, you just raise them, and depends on whether you want to have a calf operation, if you're going to sell the calves at weaning time and take them to market, or if you want to specialize in something in that. And I specialized in selling bulls for a long time, golly, for about 20 years here, I would sell 25, 35 working age bulls every year, but they were animals that I had grown out of my 75 mama cows with my 3 separate bulls and that. And when I'd wean them at 6 months, if they didn't meet certain criteria, then I'd go ahead and sell them up with heifers that I wasn't keeping anymore and that. But if they did meet certain criteria that I want to sell and have a working age bull at 18 months down the line, then I would keep them, put them in a separate pasture I had fenced off and that. And then at 18 months of age, I would start marketing them, trying to sell them between 18 months and 24 months. And golly, when I started out, I advertised and that, but after a while, my reputation did all my advertising for me, and I quit that, and I had more business than I could, furnish bulls for. And that, but the whole successful thing, was built on planning ahead of time, having plenty of good pasture, having good fencing, having good shelter, having good water for them, and taking good care of them, with the vaccinations and all that. And then you just got to have a desire to want to do it. Everybody's not cut out, to be a rancher or that, but I was fortunate my wife felt the same way I did, and we both went at it together, full steam ahead, and that it's been a very successful thing. I'm getting way up in age now, and I changed from that bull sale operation over to a cow-calf operation 20 years ago, and that because I thought I was getting a little too old to have 35 working age bulls I was working around with and all that. But anyway, I changed the stream that way and went with the cow-calf operation. And golly, I had purebred beef masters, which there was a big demand for, registered back in those days and that, but the demand kind of lessened for that. And when I decided to go to a cow-calf operation, I brought in a black Angus bull or 2 and put it with 1 or 2 of my separate herds and that. And then I got a black calf that I weaned, and I had an option. I went to sale with some calves at 6 months of age, little bull calves, and I had a fine purebred Beefmaster dark red little bull calf and that, and I had a black calf also about the same age, the same weight, and good looking. That the only difference was the color. And right, wrong, or otherwise, the black brings more money at sales. So I said, I found out that over a period of time. And I said, well, if I can't whip them, I'm going to join them. So I started bringing in, I had 3 separate Black Angus bulls, and I'd hold my heifers. And then at 18 months, I'd put them back in and get them bred by one of the other bulls. And that, anyway, I built a herd of almost purebred Black Angus cows, and that's what I have now. And of course, I wean the calves at age 6 months and take them to sale, and that. And that's pretty much, my herd was getting real old and age, and that, and age at 10 to 12 years old. You know, you've had a cow that's producing calves since she's 10, so you get 10 or 11 calves out of them. So I sold off all my old herd, and I held 30 of my choice heifers out of my 2 bulls and that, and held them till they were 15 months, 15 months old, and then I bought a new bull to put with them, and that, and now I've got a young herd of 30 mama cows that are 2 to 3 years old, and they're all having their first calves, and that, and I've got a new bull that's not related to them, and that, so we're going forward with a good operation and that, and then I have 2 other operations that I run where we buy and sell some cows in the early part of the year and hold them and then sell them in the latter part of the year, maybe after they've calved, or depending on whether we buy early on a cow that's bred but hadn't had a calf, or we buy a cow that has a calf and then we sell the calf after they're 6 months old and breed the cow back and then sell her. But that's another way of doing it too. But overall, you just got to like what you do, love what you do, be willing to work hard and not worry about the hours, you work or that, but it's fun, and I've enjoyed it. My wife did too, and of course, unfortunately, I lost her 4 years ago. But anyway, it's been a good deal. But that's my story on running my operation and how I do it and what I think it takes, to be successful.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say some of the biggest challenges that you faced while doing this and while making this, all your success on this ranch?
Oh golly, I don't know. Just biggest challenge was, you've got to be around and be involved when the cows have calves and that. And early on, when I was raising the Beefmaster herd and that, I had a Beefmaster bull that was throwing some calves that were larger than you like to see. You like to see a calf that weighs 60, 70 pounds at the most, and that they're easier to birth and what have you. But over a period of time, I was having to pull too many calves at birth and all that, and that was a good problem for several years, and that until I swapped out and got bulls that threw smaller calves. And then, of course, when I went to the Black Angus bull, they're noted for throwing a smaller calf and bred them to my Beefmaster cows, and that eliminated all the calving problems. But that was a real challenge for a while to, be able to not lose your mama cow trying to have a calf as well as lose the calf that she's trying to have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what can you tell me some of your day-to-day responsibilities that you have to do to upkeep the ranch and all that?
Yeah, you get up every morning at daylight, and of course I've got a lot of property. I've got a 400-acre ranch. It's got a lot of road frontage and that. And even though I've got a 9-wire barbed wire fence around the entire perimeter, you can't control. People driving down the road and run off the ditch for whatever reason, run into your fence and damage. So the first thing I do every morning is to get up at daylight and ride the road to be sure I don't have any fence damage, where my animals could get out or that. And then later on in the morning, it's time to go, ride and check the herd and then see the condition of everybody out there, make sure there's nobody limping, nobody's got a problem, or if you got a cow with a new calf, or if you got a cow ready to have a calf, it looks like she's going to have a problem or that, and then you do that, and just keep your eye on them, and then do whatever you need to do based on what you find, but you've got to be involved and check your herd every day to be sure they're healthy, okay, and don't have any problems, and you don't have any outside problems such as somebody running off the road, running into your fence or that type of thing. That pretty much keeps you busy. Of course, then twice a year you've got to formalize, get them all in, work them, vaccinate them, and all that sort of thing. And if you got a cow that looks like she's having a problem or that, you can bring her in and separate her and hold her at the barn or holding area in that, a smaller pasture to be sure the calf's born okay and that. But you just got to every morning get up, be sure your fences are okay, then check, be sure your herd's okay. And if everything's okay, then you're okay, except whatever maintenance you want to do on the place, and like, clean up trees or whatever. But that's pretty much kind of it.
Yeah. And what do you value the most while having this and running this?
I couldn't understand you. I'm sorry.
What is your main value in this? Like, what do you value the most?
Oh golly, as a kid, I grew up, and my dad and my grandmother and them were, my grandmother was a cotton farmer and all that. And my dad had a big cattle operation when I was just a young kid, and that, and I just didn't get so much being around it and that. But when I was able to, get of age and do it. I didn't have the money or what have you to become a rancher. So I went to college and I worked 31 years for Liberty Mutual before I took early retirement. And then I've been now a rancher for 31 years too, and that. But I was what's about? Give me a question again. So let me be sure I'm answering it right.
The company. I mean, the values that you.
The value I get is it's a personal good feeling that you have, and of course you can make some money in it too. But I wasn't in it the main reason to make money. I was in it, keep the land out here, ag use, and that by keeping it agricultural use and what have you. But I just enjoyed what I'm doing, and my wife did too, and we did too, and we just built the herd and did everything out here together, did it together, and I guess the biggest value is the love that we had for what we were doing and the satisfaction that we got in seeing it, get accomplished and work out good like it needed to, and good hard work pay big dividends.
Yeah. And do you have like any new changes or like new projects, so to say, that you have planned to change the way you're doing things? Like how you said how you transitioned from the bulls to the heifers, I'm pretty sure. That's
No,
right.
I pretty much plan to, keep the cow-calf operation going. That makes particularly my age and that, but even if I was younger and what have you, I think would go that route because you can raise them and keep your eye on them and you got your control of everything and right now the market's better than it's ever been in history. But no, I like, what I'm doing the way I'm doing it.
Yeah. Alrighty. And thank you so much for this. And this was recorded also. And that's it.